hoping that cute redhead would be delivering. Yeah, about that. She says to stop putting your phone number on the bills you give her. She's not gonna call you. Yeah, it's the story of my life. You know, you're the only person on this goddamn block who actually tip decently. Yeah, but what can you do about it, huh? Oh, believe me, there's more than a few things I'd love to do to these assholes. Just count yourself lucky I like you. Don't know why, but I do. Yeah, what can I say? You're freaking adorable. Nice guy, but you should really do something about that potty mouth. Welcome to TV Trash. Is it really ripping off if you're copying yourself? Way back when I reviewed Unhappily Ever After, I got comments saying it wasn't really a ripoff of Married with Children because Ron Levitt helped create both shows, making it more of a recycled concept. Fair enough, and it got me wondering just how many other creators have reused their same concepts again and again. And while I'm sure there have been a ton of them, one group that definitely stood out in the 1970s would be Joe Ruby and Ken Spears. Ruby and Spears are the actual writers that created Scooby-Doo for Hanna-Barbera. The huge success of that show drove HB to create more and more shows centered around a group of teenagers traveling everywhere, solving mysteries or fighting monsters. Ruby and Spears themselves created Jabberjaw and Josie and the Pussycats with this theme, even though Josie used licensed characters from the Archie comics that weren't known for that gimmick before. So you might think that when the two formed their own studio in 1977, they'd want their first production to be something completely new. Instead, they made Fangface. Fangface! The first cartoon by Ruby Spears Productions premiered in 1978 on ABC. Fangface is pretty much the result of someone saying, what if we took Scooby-Doo and combined Shaggy and Scooby into one character? Yeah, the main character here is Sherman Fangsworth, who is descended from a family of werewolves, much like Scott Howard from Teen Wolf. And I mean the original Teen Wolf! Trust me, I plan on getting to that eventually! I should point out that the director for this show was Rudy LaRiva, who had a long history in animation, but it seemed clear by the 60s that he was past his prime. He directed the Coyote Roadrunner cartoons from the DePatie Freeling era, and let's just say, longtime Looney Tunes fans try to forget those shorts ever happened. So in this show, like any werewolf, Fangsworth changes into his animal form whenever he sees the full moon. Or whenever he sees a picture of the moon. And we all thought Twilight did a number on supernatural legends. Now, I've railed on other old cartoons and shows for not having an actual pilot or past history for their characters, but this one, well, the glass is half full. The title sequence does explain Fangface's power and how he travels with his friends, but it's never explained how he came to meet them or how they discovered his secret. Because backstory is for losers. The team he travels with includes Biff and Kim, who I think have even less personality than Fred or Daphne. The only one of his friends who seems original with an actual persona is Pugsy, who is a short, pudgy curmudgeon wearing a funny hat.
Your brains are enough to keep you away.
Oh, yeah? Says who?
Says me.
Okay, I was just checking.
I like him already. It's not hard to see why Fangs has to hang out with them, because he actually appears more incompetent than Ethan from that last show I reviewed.
Never again. I ain't ever gonna eat another pizza a la mode ever again. From now on, it's nothing but donuts and ketchup.
Once again, this group lives in that wonderful cartoon world of the 70s where teenagers didn't have to worry about things like parents, school, or jobs. They just needed a vehicle that could take them anywhere they wanted to go, and adventure and hijinks ensued.
Your idea to rent this boat was a great one.
Yeah. Great boating, crummy fishing.
We're almost over Dr. Melendez's exploration base on Pelagroso Island.
Like the 70s were really like that. Nah, forget it, I'm not bringing up a bad 70s version of 90s Kid. Anyway, maybe I'm jumping the gun on calling this show a cop-out of Scooby. I mean, it's not like the intros are the same or anything.
Come on, Scooby-Doo, I see you, pretending you got silver.
Well, it's not like their female character has a catchphrase like Velma's Gene Keys or anything.
Willikers, no wonder they call it Shark Island. Willikers, that black jet's trying to force us down into the sea.
Or do things like always split up to find the monster.
We better split up.
Pugsy and me, partners.
I'm gonna stop now before they bring out the Fangface snacks. Okay, one difference is that in this case, the monsters actually are supernatural beings, which hadn't been the case on a Scooby show yet. Well, maybe some of the movies, which is why they always need Fangs to help them out, and why, I'm not kidding, they all keep pictures of the moon and the sun to get him to change into Fangface and back again. So, basically, they're taking advantage of this poor guy's curse to do their dirty work for them. These kids are assholes! And apparently Fangs isn't even aware that they're doing it, because he and Fangface appear to have no knowledge of one another. Really, Fangs has no memory of being a werewolf whenever he changes back.
Huh? Hey, what happened?
I think maybe you just awakened up.
Ooh, yeah, and I had a really nutty nightmare all about flying saucers and man-sized spiders.
No kidding.
And whenever he does turn into Fangface, the first thing he does is attack Pugsy. Every single time.
That's Pugs, your pal.
Ooh, so it is. So it is. Sorry, Pug, you look awful ugly. But I love you anyway.
But that's not as bad as whenever he sees or hears someone talking about food, because that makes him want to eat Pugs.
Go get that turkey.
Turkey?
This'll calm him down.
Wait till he turns back to Fangs. I'll show him who's boss.
If you haven't noticed by now, Fangface is the absolute goofiest werewolf ever. I mean, look at him. It's like he's trying to be menacing, but all I can picture is him thinking, "Durr, I'm gonna eat ya, durr." And it appears the writers felt the viewers were even dumber than Fangs because they have to explain everything about Fangface in every single episode. Let me remind you, they gave us no backstory as to how he joined this group, even in the pilot episode, but in every single show, they have to repeat the same expository dialogue over and over again.
Huh? Hey, where am I?
Oh no,
That picture of the sun changed fearless Fangface into fearful Fangs. Yikes! He's changed back to Fangface, and every time he hears a food word, he tries to eat me. And this is the only way to calm him down.
It's like they just copied and pasted the writing and voice recordings over and over. Which, given how cheaply cartoons were produced in this time period, wouldn't surprise me. Besides all that, there's really not much else to tell other than this show having almost the same plot lines as Scooby-Doo. Each episode has them discovering a monster or other force running through whatever place they're in. They change Fangs into Fangface and eventually defeat the monster.
These ape disguises should work perfectly. Oh, yeah. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Gotta get out, gotta get out.
It's pretty repetitive, but it's not like they could try to shake things up by introducing a new character that would make things even more annoying. Yeah, we all know what's coming, don't we?
Oh no, now there's two of them.
Yes, for the second season, they introduced Fangs' little cousin, Baby Fangs, who also changes into Fang Puss. And no, they don't explain where the baby came from in his first episode, or why his ability to become a wolf flies in the face of what they established from the very start of this show, in that Fangs was supposed to be the one member of his family that becomes a wolf every 400 years. Shooting your own continuity in the back to establish a character that was completely unnecessary. That's top quality story writing.
Stop! In the name of Fangface the werewolf! Ooh, yeah, and Fangpuss the werewolf too!
And let me remind you all, this was yet another annoying sidekick character that came out before Scrappy-Doo. Think about that. The producers of Scooby actually had precedent to look back on in this regard, and they still thought it was a good idea for their show. It's like the creators of all these cartoons were stuck in the belief that they could find a way to make this concept work, and no one got the hint. Now, brace yourselves, because believe it or not, it's in the second season that things get even crazier. Like this episode, where all Fangface has to do is cover himself in bird feathers, and he can now fly in order to stop a giant monster vulture.
Okay, Bird Brain, you've met your match!
You just gotta wonder how many kids glued feathers on themselves and jumped off roofs after seeing that. But the most insane of all had to be where they must stop a group of alien filmmakers out to destroy the Earth and make a movie about it. First, they stop a volcano from erupting by plugging it with a giant boulder. Because that will stop the pressure in the volcano, rather than cause it to build up even more and result in an even bigger explosion. And then they chase down and ride the alien spaceship from the outside as it leaves Earth's atmosphere. Because back in 70s cartoons, everyone could easily breathe in space.
How are we gonna stop that meteor?
Really, there's suspension of disbelief, and then there's abandoning all laws of physics and expecting your audience to be dumb enough to buy it. Could anyone possibly make a more unbelievable storyline?
Oh, yeah.
Totally. Don't know why they would try that. Long story short, Fangface lasted the 2 years for a total of 32 episodes. To their credit, Ruby Spears Productions did eventually get more variety in their cartoons in the next few years, as they joined Hanna-Barbera and Deke among the major studios that made cartoons throughout the 80s. And like those others, they had mixed results with their productions. Eventually, Time Warner bought up most of the Ruby Spears Productions, and Fangface is one of the shows they'll occasionally use to fill up space on the Boomerang network. And my final take on this show? At least it's not Control-Alt-Delete. Okay, this isn't the worst cartoon show out there, but it's just a stupid cop-out attempt from a fledgling studio to draw in viewers through a concept that was popular at the time. Its single attempt to be different from the cartoon it's copying comes off as both ridiculous in its execution and kind of insulting to the viewer's intelligence. I think kids today would call bull on some of the things that happen in it, and I doubt kids of the 70s were dumb enough not to. And really, if you want to be a major TV studio, you really don't need to be rehashing the same concepts over and over. Leave that to the real cheap producers with no creativity.
You just go on. Stay in your own little world whining about your TV programs. Soon you won't be so snarky. Soon I shall have the power to destroy you.